Hi everyone, it's Linda with stampwithlindawalsh.com. I wanted to show you how to make these cute little flowers right here. So this is one card that I did, and then this flower actually uses designer paper, and this one's plain. So we'll get started. You only need 2 punches the way I make these. So one of them is the 1-inch circle, and then we have the scallop. I already started off by punching 4 rose red scallops and then 4 very vanilla scallops, and then also 1-inch circle. You only need 1 of those, and then 4 of each of the others. And then you're going to take, I got this at Christmas tree shop, $1. You know, they were empty, and you're just going to fill it with some water. And then what I use is the back of my Score Pal, because it's plastic. The sheet that I bought with it, this is an insert. Let me show it to you. This is actually a cutting mat. So I just flip it over. And since it's plastic, I'm just going to spray these right here. I'm just going to spray one side. Okay, like so. Just go around, wet them. Alright, and then we're just going to fold them in half and quarters and just kind of keep wrapping them. You can even roll them if it's small enough, roll them between your fingers. And there's one, just like that. Okay, let me keep on going before this stuff dries up. So you want to do this to everything. And I just squish and pinch. Doesn't matter, we just want them all wrinkly so that they'll be... so that when you do this, the paper becomes, you're breaking up all the fibers, so it becomes easier to mold, and then the water helps that too. Because this is cardstock, and you know Stampin' Up's cardstock is very thick, it's very well made, nice quality, I love it. Okay, I'm almost done. And just going quick. Okay. And I got 1 more to go. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to take away this piece. We don't need it anymore. It's just to get, now you can spray it on a paper plate, whatever you'd like to do. So here's my pieces. This is my circle. I'm going to save that till last. And I have, oh, I'm missing a, here we go, here's the other one. So this is just to break it up. You can also use your dryer a little bit just to dry them up before you open them a little, because I find that some of them get too wet. But I'm just going to, for the demo, I'll just show you this. In the first row, I'm going to start off with my very vanilla. I'm just going to open these first, so then I can just go quick. Okay, gonna go very vanilla. It doesn't matter how you put these, and then rose red, very vanilla, rose red, vanilla, rose red, vanilla, rose red. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my matte pack and my paper piercing tool, and since this is so thick, I actually have 2 of these. I'm just gonna put them both on. But the other thing, you can just basically use your fingers and poke it through that way, but since I have 2 of them, why not use them? I just don't want to pierce my paper. So see how it goes through? And then I'm just going to kind of just force it a little through just to make it bigger. Before I take it out though, I'm going to get my brad, which I didn't get beforehand. And I'm just going to not move it, and I'm going to put my brad right through it. Okay, now this one is, you probably want a longer brad to poke through, but I'm just trying to use up these old brads, and you're not going to see this brad, so make it one that you don't even like. Okay, so that's that. That's what you're going to get. You're going to take each layer, and you're just going to bring it up and squish it. That's why you really don't want your paper to be all that dry, but if you spray it too much, you just need that little bit of a drying time. You can just throw the the heat tool on it. Okay, and just make sure when you bring it up, you're going to pinch it. Make sure you don't pull it off and rip your paper because it is kind of wet, so it's going to be a little bit easier to rip. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Then after this, I have another couple flowers I'll show you that I made. A little different technique, and we'll do that next afterwards. So stay tuned. Don't think this is the end of it. More fun to come. Okay, so I'm just pushing this all together. Now that's kind of thick and kind of tall. So what I did is after smushing, I kind of flattened them out. Just kind of did this. And what I'm making again is this flower here, so you can see it. And so I'm just, let me do it this way. Kind of separating. So I didn't really want to see my brad in there because I separated this part too a little bit. Okay, that looks cute. So all I did, I just opened this a little bit, is I took my multi-purpose glue and I just stuck a little bit of glue right in the center. And I stuck this little guy in there. Alright, and that covers up your brad if you want to spread this out. If you don't, you like it puffy, then you really don't need this vanilla piece in the middle. But that's just how I like it. I like to spread it out. I don't like it so puffy on my card because as it is, I think you're going to need some extra postage if I'm going to mail this. Which a lot of my cards I give in person, so I'm just going to save it for someone I'm going to give in person. So there is that flower. So we just made the flower to this. I just used 2 different color papers. Now the other option, this one I just did was circles. I didn't use the scallop. Actually, this is the scallop underneath. And I just wanted to complement my rose red and my black. So I just used circles. I made it a smaller flower. You can see the difference here. And then another piece I did. These are with the 1-inch circle. So you can see the 3 different sizes there. So this is going to be bigger. It depends on what your project, what you like to have done with it. So this one, I have a 2-tone. And actually, this is all very vanilla paper. I'm going to show you how to make this one next. I think it's a great tool. Okay, to make this rose, I cut out 8 of these circles. And I actually was sponging them off camera, so you wouldn't have to watch me, and then I did them all. I got so carried away. But this is our Stampin' Sponge. And it comes in a big circle, and I cut it in 4ths. And that way there you can keep using it. And then I just went around the edges like so on all my pieces. And I'll show you how I store these. This is actually Riding Hood Red that I used, and I put my Rich Regals there. The reason why I'm telling you Riding Hood Red, so when you go to spritz these, if you notice, that is pinker. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong one. Here's my sample. So it it matches there very nicely. But then once I put this to it, it doesn't really match as well. So keep that in mind. So when you go to spritz these, you're going to lose some of that color because it's water-based. So we'll do the same thing. We're just going to spritz. I'm going to move these. Sorry for that in your face. There. Just spread them out. And I only did one side because I still want some vanilla to show through. And I didn't do the center because I should. See how that's running a little bit right there? I didn't do the center. I mean, I can always add that later if I need it, but I'll just see how it comes out. And you guys know that you can just add that 1-inch circle because you saw the other one before. And then what I did after I put all these together, like we did on the previous one, I then took my stamping. Oh gosh, what do you call it? I'll show it to you. I'll write it in the video too, obviously at the bottom what the number is and all that. It's the dauber. There you go. So let me get rid of these. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'll open it up. And then I took the dauber to this afterwards with a different color. So you can kind of bring in that other color that might maybe in your card. Maybe it's, you know, I don't know, a blue, a green. Maybe you can, but have your primary color show through first with this, doing it this way, and then just add a little bit with the dauber. Okay. And we'll just line these all up. Poke them again. Get my brad. And when these dry, they actually become very hard. I was surprised. So it's not going to be a flower that will then loosen up on you. It's going to stay there. So once again, I'm just folding all upward, doing a little squeeze. If you use a smaller punch, you won't need 8 layers, so keep that in mind. So you probably only use 6, which is what I use. So I just use 6 on this. So you can play with it. You can kind of feel, the smaller the punch, you should probably use less because you don't want it so smushed. You want to have it spread out a little bit. I happen to like the scallop one the best because I noticed with this, I just use the circle one. It doesn't look as it doesn't look as flowery, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I want to spread these out, and you should spread this out before it dries, because then it will dry upward. Okay. And actually, I don't want to put a piece in the middle. I think it looks fine just the way it is. So here's this without any other daubing on it. This is where I added, I was trying to do this card, add some black, just to kind of bring in the black a little bit. Of course, I didn't really like black. And once, if you notice, once I use the water, it kind of becomes pink. So rose red becomes a little bit pinkish. So I would use a pink background. So that's why I just kind of scrapped this idea. And I also didn't like how this I learned by doing. I kept it scrunched up, and I really don't like the way it's all scrunched up like that. I kind of like to spread it out like this and then let it dry. So if you don't see a brad showing through, it won't show through later either, because it doesn't, like I said, they just keep their shape. It's awesome. So this is the dauber. So all I did, I'm not going to do it on this one because I want to keep it pink. All I did was dipped it in my ink and just add a little bit of black to the top. If you wanted to add a little bit of green, maybe some yellow, that would be pretty. Yellow and pink roses, more carnation look, but I love yellow roses. So there you go. There is the tutorial. You can do one of those. Here is this way. And then this one I did with just the circle die, the circle one. See the difference in the sizes? Here is that one I put some black on. This one, oh, I didn't really like this, but it looks like a flower that you know, and I can't even think of what it is. I made that with the, let me show you this, the punch. I made it using just this piece here. And see how it doesn't really look like a flower. I mean, you can just use that as an accent. You don't have to call it as a flower. It made it pointy, the ends of it, by using that. So, you know, it's your preference. Whatever project you're working on, you might need that kind of flower. But take your punches and just experiment. So here are my 2 finished cards. 2 different looks. Thank you for joining me today. See you soon.